Joined right now by Richard Esposito, a former deputy commissioner of strategic communications for the NYPD. Good to see you again. You know, the gun, the U-Haul, the fireworks, all could be traced back to James. What happens next? It's like he wanted to be caught. I mean, he did call the tip line, but what happens next?
It does look like he wanted to be caught. And it looks like he, his whole mindset was leading up to this. What happens next is James goes into federal court on terrorism charges. That charge under Title 18 is because of the shooting being on a transit system. It's a specific part of the penal code. He'll face life imprisonment for this shooting. 10 people are shot, more than 23 injured. So he's not connected with any terrorist group, but it is a terrorism charge, a very specific charge in our federal code.
What would be, I mean, he could get life in prison as a result of this charge. Do you think he's going to get that much time?
In this case, I think Mr. James faces a very long prison sentence. There's a lot of evidence as to what he did. He left his credit card with his name on it, the gun, the keys, and he harmed many, many people's lives, not just those he shot. So I would think this is one where he can face a long sentence. They'll take into account his mental health, of course, as they go to trial. His attorneys will argue about it, his state of mind, but his actions are quite clear.
Is there anything that the victims in this particular crime will actually seek out in terms of damages? I know you're not an attorney necessarily, but in terms of this case, I mean, obviously the perpetrator was James, this gunman who fired on these innocent passengers. But what other justice would they receive as a result of this case?
Well, there is the justice of him being caught. There's the relief that comes with knowing this person is out of the world, not in the McDonald's, not in the subway system. What attorneys will seek for damages, that's really a matter for the civil courts, whether they argue with the transit system about their cameras, whether they argue that James should have been in jail. Those are things that, you're right, I'm not a lawyer and I won't pretend to guess,
Right. But the New York City mayor, Eric Adams, spoke following your conversation with me on Wednesday on Morning in America, speaking out about the fact that the idea of putting metal detectors at subway stations could be a reality. Your thoughts now after those comments?
Yeah, I mean, Mayor Adams came in tough on crime. He's been in 100 days. Crime is up 42%. Summer's coming in New York. So he has a lot of challenges and he's got to look for solutions. So my thoughts are still that might not be the solution just because of the challenges. There are other technological solutions. There is the ability to identify firearms on people. That technology was piloted a long time ago in New York, and at the time they decided not to use it because it was intrusive in a public space. But it might be something like that is a valuable, useful tool. It's a little different than a metal detector. It will detect the shape of a weapon under clothing, and it's something that they looked at about, I would say, 15 years ago or so.
Well, what is the technology? If you're not walking through a metal detector, how do you detect the shape of a gun on somebody? And every passenger?
Yeah, this is a little different than walking through. You're walking towards, and the device can read sort of like, it's sort of like a backscatter X-ray. I'm not being technologically. It can look through the layer of clothing and see what's inside, much like when your bag goes through a scanner in the airport and it can see inside. So it can identify the shape and the metal as opposed to going through a metal detector, whereas, all kinds of things can set it off. It's a little different, and I'm sure the mayor will look at it.
That's pretty amazing. But the other thing would be, you would have to check every person for, a concealed carry license if you do that, correct?
Yeah, but there are so few of those in New York. This is... you can pretty much bet that if someone's carrying a gun, it's not with a concealed carry license. There are just a few thousand of those in New York. It is not a city where people are allowed to carry guns. Virtually no crimes in New York are committed with legal guns. He's an anomaly. This is not your typical criminal. This is not the kind of crime that Eric Adams faces every day. The homeless people pushing people in front of trains, robbery, burglary. Those are the crimes he's really going to have to focus on now.
Yeah, and that's not going to go away with a metal detector or with the scanner like you're talking about. That might be a whole other issue surrounding mental health specifically. Richard Esposito, thank you so much for your time and perspective.
Great to see you.
Good to see you. Thank you so much for watching. Make sure to click on the red subscribe button below so you can get more of NewsNation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.